Nerds and geeks, you already know what it is. One of the greatest Marvel Cinematic Universe additions ever has blessed us on the big screen, and it is only the combined efforts of Deadpool and Wolverine that could get the entirety, damn near -1, of the legendary Saturday nights of the Nerd-O-Roundtable back together. In the words of Wolverine, let's fucking go. Yours truly, King Nerdificent Wallace Sharp in the building. Mo Kelly, what it is, good sir?
Man, I think I just saw the best Marvel movie ever. It's up for debate, but y'all are wrong, and I'm right.
Dr. Liz in the house.
Hi, everyone. Oh my gosh, it's John.
Right?
Don't
Look, I'm
spoil
getting
it,
there.
Liz.
I am getting there. Tom is talking Cunningham.
Yeah, I'm not wrong because I agree with Mo. I don't think on balance that there has been a more satisfying or enjoyable Marvel movie in its entirety.
And Twitch Master McBain.
Well, I guess I must be wrong because I don't suffer from recency bias, but I did like the movie. It was very, very, very,
Okay,
very
enough
good.
out of you. Okay.
All right, well, whatever.
And he is back, the prodigal son, shining bright like the sun that he is. John Constantine.
Happy to be blowing off homework and happy enough to have Deadpool spoiled for me.
Yes, look. And this is interesting that you said it, McBain, because I did say when I was talking to Mo right after I saw it, we talked on my way home at 3:00 in the morning. And recency bias aside, because yeah, my first time seeing it was the 12 a.m. show with the trailers. Yeah, it was like 3:15 or so when I got my car. Recency bias aside, Tom is absolutely right. From beginning to end, the level of satisfaction with this film, from the comedy, the self-awareness of all the faults within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the action, the acting, the actual heart that they put into this Deadpool story, the mastery of actually bringing every multiversal element that we've been waiting for that was missing in the MCU, bringing it to the big screen and literally having tears and snot flowing out of noses. Damn it, damn the recency bias. And this is tough because I said nothing is going to top my enjoyment of watching Captain America Winter Soldier. Not quality of film, just the way I felt watching it. I never thought I would see another Marvel Cinematic film that gave that to me. Even Endgame and Infinity War, as good as those films were, they didn't fill me like Captain America Winter Soldier. This film, from beginning to end, and not just the first time, because I saw it again the next day at 2:00, and damn it, you're gonna have to have a strong case for anything being better than this film,
12,
beginning to end.
12, let me jump in there because that's where we're starting, if I may. The expectations, the load that this movie had to carry to not only save the movie, not only save the franchise, but the brand of Marvel. I think that there were more things in theory working against it than for it. We could have easily walked in there and said, Marvel Jesus, come the fuck on. But actually, he did come to save the world. You know, if I could blaspheme for a moment, he actually did exactly what he predicted he would do. It was a love letter to every nerd, and it rewarded the people who saw all those mediocre and bad Marvel / Fox movies. And it rewarded you because he had all these obscure Easter eggs and throwbacks, getting the original actors. I think what was lost and not really commented on by a lot of people, that you have a Wesley Snipes and a Ryan Reynolds personal history and animosity going back to the Blade series. So there were layers on top of layers. Not only just the fight, the evilness between Hugh Jackman and also Ryan Reynolds, but you have Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds. There were so many layers. There were so many ways that this could have gone sideways or could have gone badly, but to hit just about every single note,
Really
you couldn't count all the Easter eggs. You couldn't have seen all the Easter eggs. You could watch that movie 10 times over. And I mean, from the things that were painted on the sides of buildings, the name of the shoe store, just it was picture perfect. We got a R-rated, almost NC-17 Deadpool in Disney.
And
they swallowed it all.
Yeah.
And I mean it just like that.
I mean,
right down the mouth of the popcorn bucket.
Yeah, I mean, they even had Elektra.
Look, they have Elektra, and they have her joking about Ben Affleck.
I think
like that.
I think the thing for me that really allowed me to say that it was the most enjoyable, and I think arguably the best, is that unlike a movie like Endgame, where the time travel foo was really tough to kind of deal with, you were always happy to see them come back. That big scene where all the portals appeared, and that was an awesome moment. But you had Fat Thor, which was kind of like, okay, I guess. And you had bits and parts of Endgame. You have bits and parts of Infinity War, although Infinity War is a lot closer to like Empire Strikes Back in terms of like having a really dark, heavy ending. But this movie, and to Mo's point of what it had to deliver and what it had to do, from the opening credit scene, which mimicked the incredible violence of the first Deadpool, but also amped it up to 11 by using Wolverine's frickin' skeleton with leg bone adamantium nunchakus. I mean, it was just, there was so much awesomeness in here. And the fact that they luckily had, thanks to Loki, the perfect place to bring together people without having to think about it, without having to say, oh, multiverse and America Chavez teleporting every 5 seconds and all that bullshit. You had one place that everybody could be. It made complete sense. You had an astounding villain who, unlike a lot of the movies before, just even the first Deadpool, Francis was basically Deadpool, but bad Deadpool. Just like Ironmonger was bad Iron Man and Abomination was bad Hulk. This time you had a character who was fresh and new, insanely powerful, creepily effective with the finger extensions, the display of her power, the confidence in the use of her power. And she was a real nihilistic sociopath, perhaps unlike any other character villain we've ever seen.
Yeah.
No plot holes, no problems. An amazing choice of having to resolve how you were going to stop an assault for the 100 regenerating Deadpool, 99 regenerating Deadpools, haha. A perfect way to end that, and a very satisfying appearance from the Loki characters that came back. A new sub-villain that, you don't know is a sub-villain until we get into the movie. Everything about this worked for me. And I saw the very first screening, the fan screening at 3 p.m. It was a completely packed theater. And to see that movie in a room full of fans, to hear the absolute eruption when Wesley Snipes appeared on screen.
My eruption was Chris Evans.
I mean, everybody, I think, kind of knew Chris Evans was in it, so it didn't hit quite the same.
But I didn't know. That surprised me.
The fact that
I didn't know.
The fact that it went from Captain America to
Johnny Storm.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who they left out. I mean, they touched every single freaking movie, Wakanda. They touched every single freaking movie.
Ryan.
Iron Fist.
Don't you do it.
I mean, I think technically the only thing that they didn't reference, and you could kind of pretend that they referenced it if you squinted hard, you could pretend that Hulk was actually Eric Bana Hulk, even though it wasn't. You could pretend it was. because
They
they
touched
did
Daredevil.
touch in they touched
touched
in
Daredevil.
movies that weren't. Yeah, no, they touched Marvel movies that weren't in the MCU, and so Banner Hulk, I think, was the only one that didn't have a presence, because you got Daredevil and Elektra from that piece of the universe. You got the X-Men, you got Fantastic Four. Oh, you didn't have Spider-Man, but we've already had Spider-Man in the MCU, so that doesn't count
Yeah,
anymore.
no, but
So,
they did it. No, but he did a thing
no,
to
he
make
did
it
the
look
pew
like a
pew.
spider.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, he did the pew
so
pew. I'm
it
just
was
saying.
a kind of reference to it.
Yeah, but it was, they did a great job of, I mean, Blade being kind of the first Marvel character in modern continuity to actually do something. Oh, Ghost Rider. They didn't have Ghost Rider. That's the only piece that they didn't
That
have.
of of all the Fox universe, and in the end, there's I believe it might be Vanity, that Ryan Reynolds has a bunch of Fox related, Marvel film characters together on screen, and he has said that this is the swan song, this is the love letter, this is the conclusion of the 20th Century Fox universe of
Clearly,
films, and this is all of our introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I wanted this film to be a gateway so that if you see these characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know why they're there, you know how they got there. And when we first read that this film was supposed to bring that universe into the MCU, it was like, okay, how? Looking at this film, it's like, God damn, dude, you made it. There's no worrying about anything, and also he ended all of the multiverse everything, so we don't have to worry about Kang and none of that. Anything having to do with anything multiversal is done. There are no more multiversal films coming out. Even the new Shang-Chi film is the wreckage of time. That film has to do with time travel, nothing to do with hopping around different dimensions. The new Doctor Strange film, he's in a dark dimension, but it's still in the 616 universe. No other films moving forward are multiversal. And this film actually gives us the point where it's like,
Marvels?
cool, we're done.
Well, Secret Wars is probably going to be a
Yeah,
multiverse.
Secret Wars but Secret Wars is going to take place in the 616. It may bring in other characters, but it's no longer worrying about hopping around to other universes. And as Kevin Feige has just said, moving forward, we now have access to everyone for every film that we've ever wanted to do. That's why we
Right.
can say things like Secret Wars, when before we would have never even uttered that without access to all the characters that we know we needed. Not even characters that you've seen, but characters that are in the comic that people may not know. But if they're not in the story, you're going to say, how the hell are you doing a Secret Wars with no mention, no nothing of the Beyonder? All
Right.
of that's in play.
Hey,
And
T?
that's the genius of this.
T, what about Fantastic Four? Are they in the 616? How are they going to do that?
The Fantastic Four comes to the six, because this is not the Fantastic Four from the Fox universe.
Right.
This Fantastic Four exists in a universe that's all their own, that is going to come to an end. It's coming to an end with the coming of Galactus, and the whole point of having a non-Nord-Rad Silver Surfer is what leads them to the 616, but it's still not tying into something multiversal. It ends the whole journey that we saw in the Marvels with Homegirl, Photon popping into the X universe. All of that on the back end will be merged in, and it's like this goes back to Marvel thinking big picture again. This is no longer this disjointed, we're doing this and we're doing that and nothing is connected. Nah, we're getting back to, from Feige himself saying, we are getting back to the interconnected universe. Now you're going to see what it is that I've been looking at for the past 3-4 years. And it's all coming together now. And he didn't mention, the only thing he's mentioned about things like the Marvels is he says, I feel bad for films like the Marvels and the Eternals because there was literally no one on set supervising as those films were going along. They're just being made. And when we were making movies, either I was on set or Favreau was on set, or someone who knew the overall plan was on set to make sure it was sticking with the plan.
Should have read the script first.
No disrespect to those creators, but that was part of the problem. no one was around to say, hey, did you all forget all this stuff we sat on a damn island for a month going over? There was a point of us doing it. We didn't pay for all that for us to just be like, nah, we're just doing stuff for no reason. No, everything we do has a reason, and we're back to
Well,
that.
that is true. I mean, the Eternals, I think that they really did leave out. That's another one that they definitely left out.
That's fine.
And,
Well,
and,
I'm not
and,
gonna
and the
argue
thing
with
about
the
it
the
is,
Eternals were already in the MCU, so you
And
didn't.
no,
Yeah.
no, but I'm just saying, like, all the other references that they made throughout the movie, like that's one group that they did not reference at all.
well, no, you got to think within this film, Deadpool, they were trying their best to focus on the Fox universe. That's why you
Right.
didn't see a lot of the Disney Marvel universe characters, from Ryan Reynolds himself running saying, fuck you, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland. Like stuff like that that's in the film. And
He sure
even in the
did.
beginning when he says like, I wasn't going to be in it, but blah, 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 a lot of deals moving and shaking. Now I'm here. This is about bringing it over. And even like say, when you look at where we're going next, when you look at the next big film they got, was with all the revelations that they dropped today with Captain America 4, and the fact that they have confirmed that you will see the after effects of the Eternals. That film, even though you may not like it, when you see what we do and what that film means, we are introducing adamantium with the Eternals. That's what the whole film is about. It is fighting over that. With that, we are giving you everything that we need to, so that you say, I see how you're tying the universes together.
Well,
You know what though? I really hope. I hope that the lesson that they take from this movie, because it sounds like it's really well put together, and I can't wait to see
It is.
even though I know what the fuck is happening. But I hope the lesson that they take is if you make a good ass movie, then people are gonna go see it. Like, because there were definitely some films that Feige was on set for. Like the first Ant-Man was like only okay. Like, don't lie to me and tell me it was amazing, right? The second Ant-Man only okay. They made some duds. So it's not just like I don't think that the interconnectedness is the silver bullet that he's making it sound like it's gonna be. I hope they focus on making a solid flick.
I think I agree, John, and I think part of that is that just like George Lucas claiming from beginning that Star Wars was Episode 4 and he had all these other things plotted out, that was some bullshit.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when Feige started, before we had the Infinity kind of gauntlet as the unifying MacGuffin of the phases, you did have some individual films and they didn't really tie together. I mean, we got the Tesseract and Captain America, the First Avenger, but to rethink of going back to everything, 3 of the damn Infinity Stones were on Earth at one time, and yet Thanos didn't come to grab them. It's like there was nobody who would have been able to stop him in that way if he had just come and done it on his own. So there was a lot of retconning. What we have now is, to your point, Deadpool versus Wolverine was just a great movie. It wasn't just a funny movie, but funny is part of what makes the MCU work. It wasn't just a well-done action movie. You had 4 major action set pieces, which were a visual splendor. It wasn't just that it had heart, because the Wolverine subplot, especially once X-23 gets in there, gave you a lot of heart. It was the combination of everything that really pulled it together in a way that a lot of the MCU has not been able to do since, really, I would say, the first Avengers. I mean, Winter Soldier was excellent. Civil War was excellent. Black Panther was excellent. But then you had a whole bunch of shit that wasn't really great.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
What?
I will say,
Spider-Man for
No,
the last
Spider-Man was good too, yeah.
good.
Yeah, but it's just not. After that last Spider-Man, and Spider-Man was very satisfying because you got Toby and Andrew. Basically, that was the biggest thing. You got all 3 of the Spider-Men on screen.
That's almost all it was.
And right, and that was spectacular. It really was.
For me.
It was amazing. But then you had Multiverse of Madness, which just didn't do it.
Drop the ball.
Can I say something?
Sure.
To your point, and this is also piggybacking off of John's point. Yes, Ant-Man 1 and 2, I would say were mediocre. Thor 2 was bad.
I didn't.
But what they did have is, we all knew as viewers those movies collectively were pointed towards something.
Direction.
The Eternals didn't point to anything.
Nope.
True.
Shang-Chi didn't point to anything. And you put all those movies together, there was no really big bad on the horizon. There was no MacGuffin, which was going to bring all these movies together, and they relied on end credits to nowhere.
Right.
I will say this.
I like Shang-Chi.
I like Shang-Chi too.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But
I would say this.
Eternals-
Go anywhere.
It did connect to Miss Marvel.
I will say this.
Marvel, though.
No,
I would say
I'm not talking about connectivity. I'm talking
I
about
got you.
the larger story arc that Tom was alluding to.
Yeah.
I will
I'm
say
sorry, go ahead,
this,
Ryan.
I will say this about Deadpool. I have not been this happy about a movie since I saw Black Panther the first time when they introduced it, when they brought him in under a ray of sunshine. This is like I haven't felt this way in a long time. Yes. You mean to tell me when they brought in Black Panther and they introduced him into a ray of sunshine, you didn't feel that shit? Come on now.
No, but I mean that's
Stop
not the
it.
last time.
just
I mean,
stop it.
I felt really satisfied with Spider-Man.
Okay, I'm telling you what satisfies me. The last time I was really satisfied. Black Panther, that's my guy. That's my dude. I fucking love Black Panther. So
You mean
him,
Wakanda in Wakanda Forever, this Angela Bassett's speech didn't give you chill?
I said what I fucking said.
Fine, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. My opinion. I'm telling you how I feel. You don't have control over my feelings, goddammit.
All
As I was saying, this movie, good writing is apparently hard to find. But this movie had that. This movie can only be told a certain way, Deadpool. How are you going to get all these characters together to Tom's point, just made sense. Tom and I go back and forth about who to blame with the state of Star Wars right now, which George Lucas or Disney. I blame Disney because with good writing, even though this movie was painted into a corner, they made it work. Apparently Disney can't do that with Star Wars, but that's another story for another time. I love this movie. It was just so good. I was like, how are they going to get all these characters together? And this movie did what Multiverse of Madness should have done. This movie did what Loki should have done. Okay? Yes. They gave me what I wanted, and the cameos made sense. And speaking of, and some of these cameos weren't really cameos because some of these people were in there for a long time, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
And I thought the cameo drop-ins were, and it's not just like the death of 20th Century.
Yes.
In the wasteland. I felt like they came out of nowhere, like you were least expecting it, and it just pop up. That was gratifying because sometimes you can kind of lead to like, oh, something must be happening. This one, you were not expecting the next person to turn around.
But there's something else that the movie had.
Was really nice.
It was very meta. It was talking about current events. The whole diss of Hugh Jackman's divorce, that's current events. The whole diss by Jennifer Garner of Ben Affleck. No big deal. You had to be keeping up on just cultural events. And that's what reason why this movie was good.
Even down to them discussing Lady Deadpool and how she just had a baby and now she's just spelting back to that. And then when you see that Lady Deadpool is Blake Lively, that's like, damn it. This dude, Sean Levy, who has partnered with Ryan Reynolds on everything that they do. Like Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, that's the duo they from Deadpool 1 through this and all the other stuff. This dude, Sean Levy, and I said this to Mo, I said the level of comedy, the brilliance behind it, we have seen some Mel Brooks level writing in this film. Someone who is a genius at crack comedy, who's not afraid, who says, where's that line at? I forgot. I'm going to go past that line. I don't care. When you're able to dish yourself and everyone can still laugh, that's the highest point of comedy. This will achieve things we haven't seen since maybe the last Deadpool.
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about just the political comedy where you have to be alive in this time to best appreciate the references to the woke mob, all the things. It's just touching on. It's almost like they listened to everything that was said in every Reddit thread ever, and they got it in the movie.
Yes.
All my complaints they touched on. Like they went they went after the MCU. Even when you're coming in at a low point, Logan. I mean, shit like that.
No, it was.
We got to save it.
And the thing, the thing that the critics on Rotten Tomatoes got
Oh,
absolutely wrong, because
Yeah.
these people clearly don't understand who this character is. And I had to talk to some people just, you know, in real life, because people were talking about, oh, he was so annoying. It's like, okay, that's like saying, gosh, that James Bond had too many guns and sex. It's like, that's what you're going for. You
That's what
go
he
to
does.
Deadpool to hear him be snarky, to hear him drop frat boy jokes, to hear him make, you know, sex jokes and bodily function jokes, and for him to cut people up, and for him to laugh and make snarky asides. And if you don't get that about what Deadpool is, you don't get to say it was annoying.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
that's just, you absolutely are getting it wrong. And I loved the fact that you had Nice Pool. And I think my favorite part of Nice Pool was when he tried to do a fourth wall break, and he
Yeah.
turns
He's
to
like,
the
"No."
camera and he says, "The Notebook." And that's it. That's all he
No,
does.
but
And then he
then
comes
the
back.
proposal.
when Deadpool
The proposal.
follows up and says,
Oh, the
"Bitch, do you
proposal.
think
Yeah,
that this is
that's
what I do?"
Yeah.
Like Deadpool's response to that was
Right,
even
right.
funnier.
Right.
Because when he goes back to Deadpool and he's like, "Bitch, is that what you think I do?"
Right.
Like
You know,
that
No.
level of self-awareness is like he's literally talking to the critics who are like, if you think that's what my fourth wall breaks are,
Right.
you don't get what I do.
No.
You don't
I
get
think
it.
the underlying dislike for the movie is if you are a person who has not watched everything, then this is not going to work for you.
Yes.
So it is one of those times where you had to have suffered through even the Dark Phoenix.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
Yeah. No, yeah.
Why are you
you're
gonna bring
right.
that up? Why
But
are you
I'm
bringing up
saying
bullshit?
that you
Bringing
had
up
to
bullshit,
suffer
dude.
through everything for you to fully appreciate what is happening.
Yeah. The tear
Otherwise,
down
it's not going to
of
work.
these films, it's and it's one of those things that if you have not lived through the Fox universe, if you just watch Deadpool 1, 2, and 3, you're not gonna get all the jokes. You will get the
Right.
surface level jokes.
Right.
This film is, again, and Mo says it time and time and time. Again, this is a love letter for everyone who has sat through all those films. When you bring in all these little things, it is what literally makes this film work. When they themselves, when Ryan Reynolds himself is like, "Hey, Fox, look, Disney, I'm going there with all of these. Anything that you don't want talked about, get over yourself. I'm talking about it, and I'm disrespecting it in the worst way."
No sacred
People are
cows.
going to love me for it. Just as he said, let this man work. Let
Yeah.
this
Cook.
man
Cook.
work.
Cook.
Or
Let him cook.
Let this
Let
man
him cook.
Yes, no, and it's genius. And I think, Tom, you were talking about how people are, maybe put off by the Deadpool humor. The scene when he is sitting there with Happy in the interview,
God.
and
Oh
he
my
is
God.
talking, which the interview was hilarious itself, but that one moment where he says, I use laughter to hide my pain, and he goes into that was a very real moment. That's a very real recognition of what Deadpool's comedy is and why he uses it. And he's
Yeah.
like, he's very self-aware of, like, I know I can be annoying. I know this and that. This is what I use to hide my pain. It's like, basically, look at me, man. Look at my face. And in this film, he says, I don't want to be a joke. I don't want to be a one-trick pony. I'm like a lot of those things are flying by people. It's like, man, if you miss that very real moment, then you're missing the point of why he's doing this movie and of who the character is. And if that's not for you, okay, cool. What you're telling me is we're not friends. What you're telling me is you and I don't see life the same way. We don't appreciate who we are as people, and fuck you and your mom. I'm sorry. It's just,
Man.
it's kind of like that. It's
Fuck
kind
you
of
and the
like
horse
It's
you
not like
rode
you're
in
voting
on.
for Trump, T.
Wow.
So I don't want to force a segue, but I think since you brought up that interview with Jon Favreau, is this a good time to say that Hollywood, I think you need to cut back literally on the plastic surgery? Jon Favreau looked
poor
like,
guy.
like Matt Gaetz at
Yeah.
the RNC.
Whoa.
And
How did you skip over Chris Evans though?
Okay, you hated Chris Evans. He was on fire. I didn't really like
his face is fucked up.
He looks like he lost a lot of weight. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight. That's what it looks like to me.
I'm sorry. My favorite part is the new Wolverine. And when Carvel comes up and they're like, look, they didn't treat you well down the street, did they?
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
The Henry Cavill thing was hilarious. I have to give props. I didn't know what Channing Tatum was going to do with Gambit.
Oh my God.
And the accent was like all over the place, and they even have an aside. They had the aside about the dialect coach. But my God, when he said, when my father painted my mother's buttery guts, and I could not stop laughing. Sorry, John. These are some things that you're going to have to pretend to be aware of as you're experiencing for the first time.
When I shot out my daddy's dick,
when I shot out my daddy's dick, I was ready. I
was ready.
I was just saying to myself, "Oh, you're a joke character."
That's the meta portion of it, because you have to know the rumors of how he was going to become Gambit. He was supposed to take the character, and this is what Multiverse of Madness got wrong. They took John Krasinski and those rumors and had a needless cameo as Reed Richards, and instead this movie didn't take itself seriously and said, no, we're going to give you a cameo that is not only meaningful, that you didn't see coming.
Right.
Yes.
And in this instance of Gambit, coming wasn't the only thing you didn't see.
Okay.
So I think that what I really did like in the first Deadpool, the cameo was literally other X-Men people in a room that shut the door.
Yeah.
And all you had was Colossus. Colossus was
bad
the
green
guy,
screen, by the way.
And Teenage Negasonic Warhead were substantial characters. Those weren't cameos, they were establishment characters. Here, between Evans and Garner and Snipes and Tatum, these were substantive cameos that were essential parts of the movie. X-23, an essential part of the movie.
Yes,
and
John,
so
and she's all grown up.
And she's all grown up, and she did a great job. I'm gonna leave this. I'm not gonna say anything more about X-23. I do want to give John something to enjoy about this goddamn
She had
movie.
one of the best lines in the whole fucking movie.
She did have an amazing line. The point is that this movie used what they had, which is TVA/Limbo, to do what none of the other multiverse movies could really do effectively. Even Spider-Man, pretending that the only people who knew Spider-Man were those like 6 characters that came from the other movies, was kind of a miss. I mean, there's plenty of people that could have come through, and it would have been a much bigger spell to try to get them all gone away. But here, because it's Limbo, you can pick and choose whoever you want. You don't have to worry about, well, how am I going to get them there? Well, at some point they got murder sticked, and that's why they're there. And even if you don't have the entire, you can always go back to Limbo if you need to. You can pull anybody you want in through the TVA/Limbo and not have to worry about anything other than Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool have established that this is a place that people can come that get you from one multiverse to another. You don't have to worry about America Chavez. You don't have to worry about those universes existing anymore. You don't have to worry about billions of people on planets you're never going to see again. Just the people who matter. If that's what you need, you pull them into Limbo and you pull them out of Limbo.
And
there it is.
They literally established the whole point of why you can have characters like Blade, like Elektra, because they said verbatim that basically the studios felt like our stories no longer mattered. They literally point to Fox and all these companies saying, you know what? We're not moving forward with your franchise. That's genius, because it's like, well, I don't have anything to say. If you bring anyone in, it's like, yeah, my story was another one that wasn't working. Yeah. That's why I was in Limbo. Now I'm in the 616.
Speaking of playing the long game, I really think something is going to happen with Deadpool crying with Thor or whatever, that scene, because they mentioned it like twice at least.
Yes, they did.
Oh, he every time he went to sleep, he woke up asking about Thor.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's clearly something that they do have on the horizon.
It feels like an in the movie end credit scene, since to me the end credit scene was kind of like underwhelming. But the
Oh no,
end
I thought the end credit scene was perfect for this movie.
okay, well
For
you.
this movie.
And the end credit scene to me was in the movie with Thor. You keep mentioning it, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what I need to look forward to.
Well, but don't leave John alone. There is one end credit scene, John, and it's worth staying for.
Yeah, it's very vulgar.
But it ties up an important loose end that is not the Thor loose end. But I mean, to me, now we know that we've got Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War. So you have at least those two movies where Deadpool is actually going to be in the mainstream MCU, where that scene can occur. So
yes,
I wasn't expecting that to be closed out, because I think it's real, and I think it's it's Feige forecasting in a way that should build anticipation and excitement for at least one of those two films. So I was just super duper pleased. There was nothing about this that didn't have me excited. I literally saw it back to back. I saw it at 3:00. I left the theater and took my sons to go see it at a different theater because the screenings were all sold out at the Topanga 12. And so we drove to Fallbrook and we watched it. They were absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah.
Both of them were
It
amazed
was good.
at the movie. Oh, it was spectacular.
I got a question for Tom or Tuala, because you guys know the comics better than I do. With Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, and assuming they don't kill his character in Avengers 5, for Secret Wars, couldn't he be Dr. Doom and Iron Man?
He could. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. I mean,
because the announcement of that happened today, that if you have not seen it, the announcement of Robert Downey Jr. coming out after the Russo brothers announced their next two Avenger films that they'll be doing, one of them being Avengers Doomsday, and he had a bunch of people in Dr. Doom costumes on stage, and then one comes out of the middle in a brighter green than everyone else, and they announce a name, and it's not the name that you think. They announce what's the name? The one that everyone had wanted to be him, the dude who played Riddler in the Dark Knight films.
Paul Dano?
No, not the new one. The Dark Knight, the Christian Bale ones. Not the Dark Knight, but he played the Mad Hatter, I believe. What's that actor's name?
No, there was no Mad Hatter. You mean Scarecrow?
Scarecrow.
Oh, Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. They said that name, and then Robert Downey Jr. pulls the mask off. They say, Cillian Murphy, and then it's Robert Downey Jr., and then the crowd loses their mind. And to that end, you absolutely can, because and we said that we're discussing this in the chat. Robert Downey Jr., I have no doubts, is absolutely committed to bringing Dr. Doom to life on the big screen. You do not bring Dr. Doom to life on any screen whatsoever without a mask on. This is not the Fox universe where you get some joker who's a business owner and all of a sudden he's wearing a mask, or some punk ass tech kid who doesn't want to listen. This ain't that. This is Robert Downey Jr.'s opportunity to come in and say, I am a fucking actor. You put a mask on me and I will give you an entirely different character, and be able to come back in Secret Wars as Tony Stark, Iron Man.
See, I slightly disagree with that, because I think you don't pay all that money and get someone like Robert Downey Jr. if you don't at least show his face, probably all scarred up, but he's going to have that mask off. You don't bring in someone like Robert Downey Jr. and not show his face.
You can say that. I feel you can say that, and I hear you, but I believe that this is a long game where you say, you know what? The characters, just like you were when you saw Halo, and the first time you saw that dude take off his mask, the first thing you texted me is like, get the fuck out of here. This dude never takes his mask off. That totally does what, McBain? That kills the character. There is no taking your mask off if you are Dr. Doom. you pay Robert Downey Jr. enough money to keep that damn helmet on.
I'm
You
just
do
saying
not
his
have
face
a-
is going to be scarred, highly disfigured. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Look,
no,
possibly.
I think too. I think the immediate response, because it's Comic-Con and they showed the damn Deadpool movie in Hall H and all of that. You have an extraordinarily hyped up audience. I agree with the general consensus of the chat. This is lazy. And Anthony isn't here. And so Anthony was king. This is lazy. So I'm going to be Anthony right now. It's fucking lazy. And I get it. I understand the impulse. I understand Deadpool has brought the MCU back, and the Russo brothers are the combo, the super duper team that gave us some of the best movies and some of the most profitable movies. And I get that you let them do their thing, let them cook. But I forget who it was. It might have been Ryan who said you don't sacrifice Tony Stark just to bring the actor back in a completely new role. And the thing that made Downey magic in Iron Man are character traits that are completely absent from Victor Von Doom. Now, to that point, on the flip side of that argument, you didn't recognize Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, and he gave an Oscar fucking performance. So
He did.
I mean, like
That's true.
we act like he's not an actor. That's what I'm saying. Like, to say that he can't do it. What are you saying?
No, he can do it. And like I put in the chat, he's had a little bit of experience playing a tortured genius in a metal suit. So it's certainly possible. It's conceivable. I just don't like the fact that necessarily he's got to be a variant. And it doesn't appear that he's tied to the Fantastic Four movie, which is he's supposed to be Reed Richards' kind of, arch nemesis, whatever. But if he's not in the Fantastic Four movie and they're just bringing him in for Doomsday, which is the movie before Secret Wars, it feels like you're just yanking the chain of the multiverse, because now that you can, you're going to do whatever the fuck you want. And so bringing Chris Evans back, I don't have a problem. Will he be Nomad? He should. Because Sam Wilson has got at least one movie, and we'll see whether or not Sam can still hold the shield. Otherwise, if you do Chris Evans as Nomad as a segue back, I don't see a problem with that, because Chris doesn't have a career to go back to. Robert Downey Jr. has more than enough money.
Chris does have a career to go back to. Wow.
Okay, whatever. Not as big as Captain America.
Look, he doesn't. And he doesn't have to come back as Nomad. He could come back as Steve Rogers.
He could.
That was a whole entire storyline of after him retiring.
It is. I just think that Sam has got his one movie. Yes. Just like Shuri got her one movie. Shuri ain't gonna be Black Panther no more, and that's fine. And if Chris Evans does come back a little bit more world weary, and to Mo's point, a little bit scarier in the face, then that's probably okay, especially if he keeps the mask on. But I do think that this is perhaps a misstep. I said in the chat, I would have preferred, frankly, for them to bring Giancarlo Esposito as Doom and just move the location so it's not Latveria. Move him to Santa Prisca or some Latin country that is in, they've got plenty of dictators down there too.
Yeah,
so many actors. There's so many actors you could use.
No, there's plenty of people.
There's a million different actors that they could use, and they
don't have to race swap the character,
right? We just don't know.
Yeah,
what it is.
Look.
You and your damn race swapping.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. So I'm sorry.
Okay. Can we talk about the chat?
Him being in a mask is super important. Yeah, the chat is on fire. Where do you want to go, Liz, on the chat?
First of all, I love how I disagree with Robert on this one. He's talking about no one from any of the Punisher movies. I don't think we needed anybody from the Punisher movies.
They mentioned them.
They mentioned them. Yeah, so they did do the callback. They mentioned him. He said there's been like 5. And so,
but there's only been one delay.
And they used the gun. And they used the gun from the Punisher.
Yeah, they did. They used Punisher's AT4 or whatever.
And Robert is all hype about Ryan. They did forget about Iron Fist. Okay. Yes. But here's the thing that I love the most. That's the most. I swear I was going to message Tawala earlier about having John come on for this show. And damn it, he's here. Great stuff. And please don't make us suffer another 2 months before the next one.
Okay, Tina, we got you. Tina, we got you. Because look,
I got a private message
there's so
from
much
folks.
to cover that I don't want us to be here 11 years trying to cover everything in this show. So
Now that's true
we
too.
Yeah,
are going to have to do another one to cover
Right.
a bunch of other stuff. Because damn it, there's been some finales.
The
And there's
boys.
some other stuff that's been popping.
Yeah.
Acolyte.
Hit Monkey is cracking. There's a lot of stuff out there, but
Someone-
there's a lot to cover in this.
Someone actually said they watched Dark Phoenix twice. I don't.
Why?
I'm sorry for you.
Oh, static.
I'm so sorry for you.
Why do you hate yourself?
No, sir. No.
Wait, let me defend Dark Phoenix. There was the train scene was pretty good.
That train scene was Universal Studios.
Whatever. I like the scene.
And that was Universal Studios, the back one, the backstage drive-through. That's what that was.
That was so the fact that they tried to pull those aliens in as some sort of super aliens that just did nothing about that movie.
They were supposed
work.
to be scrolls, but Disney made them change it.
That
Right.
was terrible.
Right.
Anyway.
And aren't they the broccoli people in the comic books? Isn't that what that race was?
I don't know.
I think they were supposed to be the broccoli head people, and because, like you said, because they couldn't use Skrulls, they just changed them into these shapeshifters that are apparently super duper powerful.
Now, they did not explain who bought the Avengers Tower, Robert, in this movie, unless I missed it. Did anybody pick up on who bought the Avengers Tower? Yeah,
I thought it was supposed to be. I thought they were. I thought Norm Osborn. By the time we get to Thunderbolts, I think there's. Oh, or maybe it's
Valentina.
Oh,
yeah, I think it. Well, she's in there. I don't think she owns it, but I think it's either it's some other industrialist, because Ironmonger's dead, Stain is dead, and Hammer I think can't afford it. So I think they're going to try to bring Osborn in through because of Spider-Man.
They could, and they that would tie into Spider-Man 4, where they say they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at
Spidey.
At Spidey and Spider-Man 4.
Sure.
They're
Everything
like,
except a girlfriend.
That part.
I
really do like. I really agree. And Tom put the comment up about Gambit's costume. I thought Gambit's costume was fan-freaking-tastic.
It was very good.
Spot on. Yeah.
And how they use the cards was amazing.
Very good.
I mean, it made X-Men's version look
the Wolverine Origins
trash.
version. Yeah. Like they actually did it.
Was going to get a shout out. I really did.
Who?
Oh, Taylor Kitsch. I think he just wasn't available. I think the people who we didn't see in this, I think that they actually just were not available. I think because there's no reason to turn this down. There's no reason to turn down other than you're just not available, or they're like, you know what, it's too much. If we're gonna go Gambit, let's go on and go full on Gambit and give what's the name his opportunity to really shine.
And that was
a shitty accent.
No, I think that's what it was, Twala. This was a time to give past fantasy casting the shot that they just didn't get.
Yeah.
And it was completely disposable. You got Pyro from the X-Men universe in a fairly consequential cameo.
He looked like shit.
He did. Well. But I mean, he's been in limbo for a while.
He ain't been acting in a long time.
Apparently, they have a lot of meth in Limbo.
Apparently,
those teeth were like really not sexy.
Gambit was just a big inside joke, kind of like how Nick Cage playing Superman. Inside joke.
Ooh,
right.
Boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was wrong. He was mentioning the two different Dark Phoenixes. And the Dark Phoenix in X-Men 3, which actually I preferred better than the other.
Not saying much, but yeah,
but
sure.
that's not saying much.
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean,
and it was very unsatisfying when they did nothing with it after.
Well, I mean, at least they kind of got the origin of the real origin of Dark Phoenix a little bit better in the second.
You mean you didn't like the part when Logan was going towards Dark Phoenix and his clothes were getting ripped off, but his hair just stayed the same? You didn't think that was good, or
wait, let's be clear. Dark Phoenix also had an appearance in X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because when Jean Grey
Yeah.
comes out, the Phoenix comes out.
correct.
That's what they were alluding to.
Right.
And
But
then
it
they
didn't
act
make
like
any
that didn't happen in the
But it
next
didn't.
movie.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense because she got it when she was in outer space in Dark Phoenix. I don't know. It's just
Right.
really confusing.
Well, I think we're supposed to believe, just like we were supposed to believe in X-Men. What was it? United was X-Men 2.
X-Men 3.
X-Men 3 was United. X-Men 2 was
Last
whatever it
Stand.
was called.
No, X-Men 2 was
X2.
United.
It was called X2.
Yeah.
So in that one, it was the pressure of Jean holding the lake back, which sparked her to become Dark Phoenix, which was really bad. Because
And then nothing happens after. Like
But here's the problem. You lifted the plane out of the water as you held back the water, and you couldn't make a cocoon to protect yourself and just get buffeted away.
No.
I mean, that was just dumb. And then I think even though it doesn't have anything to do with how the comics actually worked, and let's be clear, the comics completely retconned the whole Phoenix shit anyway, because Jean was not in a cocoon in X-Men 137.
That was just lazy writing.
It was. So
God.
at the end of the day, I think we were supposed to believe that when she was triggered by Apocalypse, either her proximity to Apocalypse unleashed the latent power that she held within her. And then
he says to him, Xavier tells her, release yourself. Like he speaks.
Let it go, Jean.
Let it go.
Yeah. Whichever.
Yeah, but
Let
I'm
it
saying
go,
the manifestation of the Phoenix Flames, I'm saying, was.
I think we're spending too much time on this. No one
Yeah,
really
we are.
cares.
It's worthless. That was a trash movie.
Trash.
So Twala, it seems like you don't want to jump into some of the other stuff that we had talked about potentially jumping into.
Right
but
now,
if
we've got a hour's worth of show here, and I agree with Tina that we absolutely need to come back for some more. We got to let Anthony come on in.
Yep.
We've got the boys season finale to discuss. We have that ass series, Acolyte to discuss. Because the Acolyte was trash. We need to discuss that.
I'll finish it because I stopped watching.
Cobra Kai season 6 was great.
You're finished with it already?
It was part 1 and part 2.
No, I binged part 1. The next part ain't coming out till later this year.
Like November.
Yeah,
I thought it was September.
Maybe it's September.
Yeah. No, it's coming out close to my birthday. I remember. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Time means nothing to me.
So we got a lot to discuss, and I absolutely commit to coming back next week, especially when Anthony is back, because I know he was mad. He couldn't join today. He was so mad.
Yeah, because I'll try to finish the Acolyte. I stopped at.
You don't have to 4. Because it's trash.
Liz,
oh my God,
I'm gonna pray for you, sister. Liz, I'm gonna pray for you.
I stopped at 4 and I was like, Liz, I'll come back.
This is me. Liz, I watched everything, and I absolutely hated this show.
The fact, Liz, that you got to 4 episodes is a testament to how strong of a black woman you are. A testament.
Hey, you know what, Liz? I would say watch episode 5 just for the lightsaber sequences. That's it. But stop there. Don't go.
There's supposed to be a pretty good fight in that show.
Yeah.
No. There is. Episode 5, it is some of the best live action Jedi fighting that we've seen. It's very dark, very like, oh my God. But then it goes right back into
the
filling
toilet,
your eyeballs with shit. And that's just
I hate to be the negative Nancy.
I don't.
I really don't like the main character.
No,
and I'm trying my best because I did watch her in The Hate U Give. I think she's a mediocre actress. Yeah. And to have her as a lead, and I hate to say it because I want everybody to get a check. But at the same token, I just was like,
look what she has to work with, though.
Better? Yeah, but she's not that strong of an actress.
And this ain't a strong of a show.
Okay. Before we drift into something we said we weren't going to do, can we just settle back into the marvel and amazement that Deadpool versus Wolverine was? Because
yes, please.
I'd rather end on that because we all really did enjoy it. John, there are a couple of really cute surprises in the Wolverine montage that you're going to absolutely be thrilled with, including the
At
very
the
first
end,
appearance of Wolverine in the Wolverine montage, which is pretty fucking amazing. The effects that they had to use to pull that off are pretty cool. And the one Wolverine that my son liked, he commented, and I didn't even know he was a comic book head like this, but my older son, Thomas, he loved that dark Wolverine with like the hair that's like 3 feet tall, where everything, in this universe, everything is burning. And he jumped up.
I know.
It's not in the trailer, John. So that's something that you're not going to, that you will not be spoiled.
I did like the Easter egg of the Wolverine with one hand, because that's X-Men like Apocalypse comic.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, that was fucking great, man. That was awesome.
That was fucking hand.
That was a great Easter egg.
They were doing deep cuts throughout this movie. And
it sounds like primo nerd shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
John, this is your movie.
Yes.
All right,
John, sit in the back row for fear of having something warm and sticky on your neck by the end of the show.
Look,
because people were really doing the most in my.
And they say that, like, he says it outright. He says, "Get your special sock out, nerds.
Get your special sock out, nerds."
Like, we are going there, and it was no lie. It was like, oh my god! It had so many insanity. Oh my god moments. That's what I'm saying. For me, the second time watching it, when I was able to actually sit back and watch it without, picking up my mouth off the floor, it is such a special treat. And it's such this dude loves nerd kind. He doesn't hate us like Kathleen Kennedy. He loves us. And this is what love for the fan base looks like. This is what love for the fan base looks like. This and to me, this is one of those films that proves the point for every fucking critic who keeps saying, there is, superhero fatigue. No, it's bad film fatigue.
That's
bad films across
bad,
the board.
Lazy writing fatigue. Yes.
And then to only see Venom as the ad coming out, I was like,
no, I'm good on that now.
My God,
that Venom trailer hurt my.
It's the turd in the punch bowl. That's what it is.
Hey, just want to add this news. It's tracking that Deadpool Wolverine is going to cross 430 million worldwide this weekend.
430?
Yes.
It was 96 million
as
on
I told you,
Wednesday.
Mo,
but that's 70 million more than they forecasted. Oh no, it's going to do more than $1 billion.
But it's nice because
Inside Out 2 did $1 billion.
Oh, Inside Out 2 was wonderful. But anyway, Tom made a point the last time we met about summer blockbusters, and it's kind of an interesting thing because really it's Inside Out 2, Bad Boys, Twister, and this. Right. And I don't know what else is really going to come to unseat anything. But these are our top 4.
Because even as good as Aliens Romulus looks,
way.
It's a deep cut. No, I mean that's not going to topple or like Aliens Romulus may do Planet of the Apes numbers at best. At best, what they did with Inside Out 2, that was a very special movie, and it deserves the $1 billion that it received. It is a return to form for Pixar, because Pixar also, like the MCU, Pixar has put out some serious duds. Inside Out 2, magnificent. Deadpool Wolverine, magnificent. And once again, Disney is keeping the box office alive for the summer.
Well, and that Bad Boys 2.
But no, again,
Bad Boys 4. Sorry,
Bad Boys 4 and Twister. They rounded out, but neither of those films are going to touch $1 billion. Together, those films are at about 800 million.
Bad Boys 4 is already supposed to be top of $1 billion.
No.
That's according to Will Smith.
No. The franchise is at $1 billion. The Bad Boys franchise as a whole. Bad Boys 4 took the entire franchise over $1 billion, and that's why a lot of people are like, Bad Boys 4 did $1 billion. I'm like, no, it did not. The franchise as a whole, because it is tough to get a franchise, a series of films to cross those type of numbers.
Well, they making another one.
No, of course they
are. And Twisters was unexpected. They thought that it was going to do well, but mediocre. And I saw it. I don't know if anybody else saw it. I thought
Mo saw
it was okay.
Mo saw it. I wasn't going to. I didn't need to see. I didn't need to see it because Mo told me from off the top it's not connected to any
That
of the
was
other
that
films.
was the sad movie.
It's a
That
myth.
part was sad.
Yeah,
That
it's
part
like,
was sad.
why do this film? And it has nothing to do with the original outside of some things that you say, oh, that was similar to what they did in the first film, but there's no direct connection, no nothing.
No.
That's a miss. Just
No.
another movie with more people chasing storms. And I'm good.
No, but I think they updated it to where in the motivation for them chasing storms in 96 was about science. This one was about social media.
Yeah, I was about to say about IG Live.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Okay. Well,
And
Right. Okay.
and the other side is corporation greed. And I was like, okay, this fits. I didn't like that, but then at the end of it, I was like, well, I'm sorry, this fits.
Well, I will say, as we're kind of shutting down, a sequel that absolutely worked for me was A Quiet Place Day One.
Oh, yeah.
didn't see
Isn't that a prequel?
It is a prequel. And by stripping down the story, because you've already seen what the monsters do, and so you knew what the story was with that family that was the concentration of the first thing, by concentrating this story on a very narrow range of Lupita Nyong'o, because we know that the monsters kind of win. This is day one, literally, of the invasion. And so we know that the monsters are going to do a lot more damage. But they introduce the Jaimin Hansu character, who is in the third movie, and they made it's kind of like the best episodes of The Walking Dead, where it's not about the zombies, it's about the journey, or that episode of the new zombie thing that was just on HBO. I keep
Last
thinking
of Us.
Last of Us. I kept thinking Not Like Us because of Kendrick Lamar. Thank you. But in that one episode where the dude from Parks and Rec and his lover, that very quiet, contained episode was like a high watermark for The Last of Us. This Quiet Place just tracks Lupita. She has terminal cancer, so the whole threat of the monsters isn't the thing. She wants to get back to this restaurant where her dad used to play jazz and get a piece of pizza. And so that's her motivation. And she gets this guy.
Hey, hold on. Wait a second.
What?
So you have monsters, aliens, and your whole thing is to get a piece of pizza?
She was terminally ill.
I'm just trying to figure this out.
Maybe it was good pizza. Shit.
She literally said, she literally said,
okay,
I'm dying. And you can't take that sentence and dismiss it. It's really a well done movie. And the story is heartrending. And when she finally is able to get to the end of her journey, the choices that she makes and how she chooses to end her life is really staggering in a way that the other movies are not quite as impactful because they weren't built to be this sort of personal, intensely solid story. They were about creating kind of a one-time thing that turned into a two-time thing and is now stretched into a three-time thing. I could spend more time in this universe if the stories were built like that. I don't think it would need to be another feature film, but I certainly wouldn't mind exploring other people's journeys, just like we ended up exploring other people's journeys in The Walking Dead, and just like we ended up enjoying those same journeys in The Last of Us. I think there are spaces for these dystopian apocalyptic films, perhaps because of the political environment in which we find ourselves, but where you can do stuff and do it as exceptionally well as they did with Day One, I think they should. And that sort of creativity, as opposed to just recycling the same things beat for beat, like what we're getting in most of these movies and these sequels, is a really strong choice. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. It didn't make enough money, but or as much money.
Popular franchise. They're even making a video game based on it.
No,
making a video game.
Yeah, I understand.
I can see them making a
don't
video
get
game.
that. I mean, I know that there are like awareness and stealth videos and stealth video games out there.
Yeah.
So I understand the space for it. Quite frankly, I'd love to see a Deadpool and Wolverine game.
You and me both, brother.
Since you
You
showed
know,
me
I
those
feel like
controllers.
Co-op, that'd be great.
I feel like The Quiet Place came out at a really bad time.
Yeah,
They're
but
getting
that's
smashed
not
by the theater.
even.
I'm just
That's not the
saying
no.
that you're getting smashed by.
Nah, everything. Films have sucked this summer. The total box office minus the what's one called 2, Inside Out 2, and now
Deadpool. Yeah.
But you got to think, Inside Out 2. Without that, this summer would have been a complete and utter wash. No film is reaching the heights that the box office, that theaters actually need to stay open. Right now, families are still taking their kids to go see Inside Out 2 because it's hot as shit outside, and it's an opportunity to go into the theater. Despicable Me 2 is cool, and that one is doing something. But the overall on Despicable Me is like, nah. Once you've seen it, no one's trying to see that again. And even my kids who love the Despicable Me franchise, they were like, that was an absolute waste. There was no need for them to do this film. No. Conversely, Inside Out 2, they were both like, oh my God, this film damn near got me choked up. And my kids are at that surly teenage age where they're like, they don't like nothing. You know,
Inside Out 2 was so perfectly tuned in to the internal conflicts, and there's the universality of what those emotions do, and to want to be friends, and the ending of friendships, and the gradual maturation into emotional stability, such as it is. They really did a great job with that movie. I was very impressed, and it wasn't a movie that I figured you needed to make. I didn't think a sequel, but now somebody's already said I could very easily see her a college version. They hinted at some things that didn't really fully manifest in this movie that I think could definitely be explored in a third one. And you could also see one when she becomes a mom. I mean, you could do 2 more of these if they're done as well as these have been done.
Yeah. Mo, did you like the prequel, A Quiet Place, as much as Tom did?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you hate
thoroughly
prequels.
Enjoyed it.
Because you usually hate prequels.
Yeah, I do, but this actually plays like a sequel. It takes us somewhere we haven't been before. And it doesn't use the same, I don't want to say theatrics, but you get a better, in the first one, you are kept in the dark, literally the whole movie. You don't see the monsters. You really don't understand them. You have no idea. So it's a prequel because it goes back in time, but it actually forwards the story. We learn more. We understand more because when we see the first movie, we're like maybe 5 years down the road or whatever it was. And, civilization is gone and we're trying to catch up the rest of the movie. This brings it into better focus. Yeah, I don't like prequels. I would much rather see how civilization, or how when the first one, they let you know this is how you beat them. And we never went back to that. We've never gone back to that to see if society overcomes and defeats the aliens.
Okay.
But thoroughly enjoyed it.
I love it.
I do see 2 questions in the chat. I don't know about Borderlands. Do you think it's going to do well in this?
There's no way that movie's going to be good.
There's
no. Isn't Kevin Hart in it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why.
Doesn't matter. There's no way in hell that film is going to be successful. No
as
way.
Much as I dig the series, man, and I would have liked to watch a fun, well-made Borderlands movie. That's not going to be with this.
It's a fun game, but no.
And I don't know if any of you saw Boy Kills World.
Yeah.
I
love that flick.
I love the premise and I love the violence. It definitely is kind of like Deadpool violence, with some humor, but not. It's almost like Deadpool because the character can't speak anymore, and so it's like kind of like the internet voice, where it's like, this is how I imagine I sound. And so his internal dialogue sounds like a trailer all the time. Lots of crazy, super duper violence. But Deadpool is the thing that just delivers. I mean, there's no way any other movie is going to make more money unless, and when you think it's a hard R, a hard R.
Hard R.
What do you mean by that?
I mean,
Break out your sock, bad boy.
it's more fucks than a Samuel Jackson family reunion.
Okay. Okay.
More hacked off body parts, more gore, more blood spatter. The only thing this doesn't have is sex, but this is a hard R.
Well, some of those blades went in certain places where it could be,
Well, yes, no, absolutely.
Yeah, like when he was using the Wolverine claws, I said to myself,
God, let John have the life.
Okay.
Stop it.
All right, look.
Okay,
All right,
last
look.
but not least, they said that they asked me what Apple is cutting back on original content.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, Liz, you gonna be okay?
That's bad news, dude. Because Apple is the only service that's like consistently making really good.
Someone get Liz a cup of water.
Oh, Liz. Oh, poor Liz.
It's so good. They just came out with a new show.
She's got to clip the pearls on her fainting couch.
I watched the first episode of the Time Bandits show. And
yes.
Is it
watch
good?
it with your kids. It's a good time. It's clearly for like a younger audience or whatever. But I love the original Time Bandits when I was a kid.
I do too.
Me too.
And this hits pretty good.
David Warner as evil was amazing.
Oh yeah.
And then they keep coming out with really good content. Top of the line actress. Natalie Portman's in the latest show.
Fucking Slow Horses.
That
One of the
shit
best
costs.
shows on TV.
It does.
Cost.
It costs. Buy more iPhones, ho shit.
Android for life.
And they need to increase I hate to say this, but they need to increase the price. Paying $4.99 is just, it's not enough for the kind of content you're getting. I feel like I'm stealing.
Okay.
Well, if you and 5 million other people felt that way, then maybe they could do some more stuff.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
I just don't think the streaming model is like fucking sustainable anymore. I think that's what it is. I think it's not like, it doesn't matter if you're putting out kick-ass content or shitty content. No one can do it the way that they're doing it now, and the only choice for them is to just become cable.
Oh God.
Because that's what we're doing.
Damn near.
All right, look, if I don't pee, I'm gonna die on camera in front of all these people.
All right, John, I don't know if you are able to bless us with your presence again next week, but I'm game because there's a lot of nerdism left on the table that we got to get to.
I might be able to do that. I might be around for that.
All right. Well, with that, good people, let's let John go and drain the main drain there. Take us out, Liz.
Good night, everyone.
Big Bang.
I'm just surprised they didn't make Dr. Doom a woman.
Oh, shit. Mo.
Bitch, are you improvising?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Damn it. My favorite line. Oh, damn it. Tom.
Where's my gambit sucha?
Oh, yes. The accent.
Yes. Oh my God. Let's fucking go. Excelsior.